Every villain in history believed he was the hero. Most stories are told from the outside, the observer, the innocent bystander, the journalist with a notepad and a conscience and nothing to lose. But what happens when we go inside? What happens when the man who ordered the murders, every single one of them, sits down across from you and explains why? Not to confess, not to apologize, but to make you understand. What if he does? Sidney Sheldon wrote one of the most terrifying villains of the 20th century, and then someone had the audacity to give him a point of view.
I've waited
Today,
a long time to
we
hear.
listen. His name is Roger Hudson, and before we tell you what he did, we are going to tell you who he is, because that is the whole point. Roger Hudson is 71 years old. He has been married to Pamela for 43 years. He gives more money to hospitals, libraries, and schools than most governments allocate in a decade. His name is on buildings. His handshake has stopped wars. His phone calls have moved markets, toppled regimes, and on at least 2 occasions, according to men who would know, prevented nuclear confrontations that the public never heard about. He is, by every conventional measure, one of the great men of his age. He also ordered the deaths of an entire family: a father, a mother, a daughter, 2 sons. 5 people eliminated across 12 months, made to look like accidents, a fire, a road collision, and a burglary gone wrong. And he would do it again. This is not a story about a madman. There are no frothing rages in this version, no unhinged monologue, no twirled mustache. This is a story about a man who looked at the world, its fragility, its violence, its absolute willingness to destroy itself, and decided that someone had to hold the walls up. He decided it would be him. Roger Hudson began working at the intersection of intelligence, finance, and foreign policy in his late 20s, not for any single government, but for what he would call, without irony, the architecture of stability. He understood something that elected officials could not afford to say aloud: that the post-war order was not held together by law or democracy or international goodwill. It was held together by men like him, quietly, in the dark, with their hands dirty. He was not wrong. That is the first terrible thing you must accept. He was not wrong. Now, Taylor Winthrop. Taylor Winthrop was, by any external measure, one of the most admired men in America. Ambassador, philanthropist, patriarch of a dynasty that represented everything this country wanted to believe about itself. Roger Hudson knew the truth. He had known Taylor Winthrop for 30 years. They had built something together, a channel through which certain geopolitical transactions could be managed, quietly, outside the bureaucratic machinery of government. Not for personal profit, not initially, but because the alternative, open markets for the weaponry piling up in the ruins of the Soviet Union, was a catastrophe that no intelligence agency, no treaty, no sanctions regime had the architecture to prevent. They were the architecture. And then, Taylor Winthrop got greedy. Winthrop had begun negotiating independently with the scientists at Krasnoyarsk 26, cutting Hudson out, selling plutonium not to the agreed-upon buyers, the ones whose programs Hudson could monitor, control, and if necessary, neutralize, but to anyone with a wire transfer and an ideology. Libya, North Korea, factions inside Pakistan whose names would make your blood stop. Hudson discovered it 6 weeks before the fire in Aspen. He sat with this knowledge for 48 hours. He consulted no one. He made no calls. He simply decided. And here is where this version of the story diverges from every comfortable assumption about who Roger Hudson is. Because when Pamela asks him, quietly, without drama, whether he is certain, he tells her something that will haunt every subsequent scene. "I am not certain," he says. "I am only certain that I cannot afford to be wrong." That is their marriage. That is their complicity. That is their love. Dana Evans arrived in Roger Hudson's life the way most catastrophes do. Innocently, with good intentions, at exactly the wrong moment. He had known of her, of course. Everyone knew Dana Evans, the journalist who had broadcast from Sarajevo with bombs falling within 300 yards, her voice perfectly steady, her eyes telling a different story entirely. Roger Hudson had watched those broadcasts, and he had felt something he rarely permitted himself to feel: admiration. He had introduced himself at a function. They had spoken. He had found her remarkable. The quality of her mind, the precision of her instincts, the way she listened as though every word you said was being weighed and filed. He liked her. This is important. Remember that he genuinely liked her. When Dana Evans began pulling at the thread, Roger Hudson made a decision that, in retrospect, was his first real mistake. He did not have her stopped immediately. He could have. The mechanisms were in place. A quiet conversation with her editor, a reassignment, nothing violent, nothing irreversible. He could have redirected her with a phone call. He didn't. Because Roger Hudson had spent 40 years in a world of professionals, people who killed for money, who lied for ideology, who betrayed for comfort. And Dana Evans was none of those things. She was simply right. She had looked at 5 deaths and seen what every official, every detective, every credentialed expert had missed or chosen to ignore. She was too good. And he found, to his own quiet horror, that he could not bring himself to immediately extinguish that. So he did something more elegant and more dangerous. He made himself her ally. He guided her. He fed her just enough truth to keep her moving toward the wronged men of Europe, the Mancinos and Xanders and Falcons, anyone who might plausibly have wanted the Winthrops dead. He made her investigation feel productive while steering it safely away from himself. Meanwhile, he listened to every phone call she made from her apartment. He read every note on her laptop. He watched through surveillance cameras as she kissed her fiancé goodbye and dropped her one-armed Bosnian boy at school. And every morning, he told himself it was still not too late to let her walk away. What Roger Hudson had not anticipated was Moscow. He knew Boris and Sasha Sedanov were liabilities. Sasha had been inside Krasnoyarsk 26. He knew the operation's architecture. He had been making quiet, frightened noises for months. Hudson's men were watching him. What he had not expected was that Dana Evans, this television journalist from Washington with a traumatized child and a sportscaster fiancé, would find a way through every layer of surveillance, travel to a secret underground city in Siberia, be smuggled inside dressed as a prostitute, and extract the full operational truth from the one man who could provide it. He sat with that for a long time. Extraordinary. The word that came to him, unbidden, was extraordinary. The moment he learned that Sasha Zhdanov had told Dana Evans everything, the plutonium, the buyers, the scale of the operation, Roger Hudson understood that the calculation had changed irreversibly. She was no longer a journalist following a story. She was a woman in possession of state secrets capable of triggering international prosecutions, ending alliances, and unraveling 30 years of architecture that had, whatever its methods, kept a great many catastrophes from occurring. She had to be stopped. This was not anger. It was not revenge. It was arithmetic. Do whatever is necessary, he says, but make it clean and make it fast. He puts the phone down. He pours another scotch. He does not sleep. Here is the thing about Roger Hudson that makes him so much more terrifying than an ordinary villain. As his men failed, the sniper, the truck in Moscow, the ambush in Chicago, he did not grow enraged. He did not scream at subordinates. He simply watched, with something approaching melancholy, as this woman absorbed every attempt on her life and kept moving. He had known she would. He had known from the beginning, if he was honest with himself. Pamela watched him watching the screens. "You admire her," Pamela said, not accusingly, simply as a fact. "Yes," he said. "And you are still going to have her killed?" "Yes," he said. That exchange, those 4 words, the architecture of everything Roger Hudson ever was. When Dana Evans walked into his study, pepper spray confiscated, eyes streaming, still refusing to flinch, Roger Hudson felt the last of his calculations dissolve into something he had not experienced in decades. Grief. Not for her, not yet, for what it had cost to get here. He had wanted, once, to be the kind of man who protected people like her, people who told the truth in dangerous places, people who refused to be redirected by power or money or institutional pressure. He had believed, he had genuinely believed, that his work in the shadows was in service of a world in which people like Dana Evans could do their work safely. He had ended up trying to kill one instead. He does not gloat. That is the crucial thing about this version of the confrontation. There is no performance, no villain's monologue delivered for the pleasure of it. He simply explains. The Winthrops were not innocent people, Dana. Taylor Winthrop was selling fissile material to men who had announced, in writing, their intention to detonate it in a civilian center. I had tried every other option. 3 years of warnings, of renegotiating, of attempting to bring him back inside the arrangement. He was beyond managing. And once he was gone, his children, Paul especially, had discovered the operation and began making demands that would have brought the entire structure down. Dana stares at him. You killed his daughter. She was 24. Yes, he says simply. She knew. And she had spoken to a journalist in Geneva. I wish it had been otherwise. And the most terrifying moment of the entire story is this. You almost believe him. What happens next is where this version of the story departs entirely from everything Sidney Sheldon originally intended. Because Roger Hudson stops Caesar. He holds up a hand, just that, one raised hand. Let him come. Pamela enters from the corridor. She looks at Roger. He looks at her. It is finished, he says. Not to Dana, to Pamela. Roger Hudson crosses to his desk. He opens a drawer. He takes out a thick folder and sets it in front of Dana. Everything, he says. The full operation. Every buyer, every transaction. Every official on 3 continents who looked the other way and took a wire transfer for it. The names your government will not want you to publish. The names you must publish anyway. Dana doesn't move. Why? Because I am 71 years old, and I have been holding the walls up for 40 years. And the walls are falling anyway. The sky was always going to fall. I was the only one who believed otherwise. He pours a final glass of scotch. And because you were right, Dana, from the very beginning you were right. The world you believe in, the one where someone tells the truth and it matters, that world deserved a better guardian than me. Jeff Connors looks at Roger Hudson. He looks at Dana. He looks at the folder. Kamal is safe, he says. He is outside. Roger Hudson did not go quietly into the night of his own free will. Dana had called the airport. The tower had ordered the plane back. Jack Stone had pressed a gun to the pilot's head. The jet had taken off anyway. Roger Hudson looked at it until he couldn't see it anymore. Then he took out his mobile phone. Pamela looked at him. "Who are you calling?" He didn't answer. "Hello? I want you to know that in 35 years of this work, I never once stopped believing it mattered. I need you to know that, not for my sake. Watch the sky tonight. There will be something for you." 3 seconds of silence on the line. The line goes dead. He looks at Pamela. She looks at him. After 43 years, they don't need words. She takes his hand. Below the plane, the lights of the eastern seaboard glow like a circuit board. Hospitals and schools and libraries with his name on them. Roads he funded, agreements he enforced. A world he fought with terrible methods to keep from destroying itself. He was not a good man. Let there be no confusion about that. But he was not a simple one either, and the world is not made of simple men. She sits there for a very long time. Matt Baker's voice comes in her earpiece. "Dana, we're on in 30 seconds. The red light comes on. She looks into the camera. She begins. "The sky is falling," said Chicken Little, and everyone laughed until they looked up. Roger Hudson asked Dana to watch the sky. She watched it. She broadcast what she found. She kept 3 pages. We may never know what was on them. Perhaps that is exactly as it should be. Sidney Sheldon spent his life writing about the collision between power and conscience, between the people who make the decisions that shape the world, in the dark, without your consent, and the people who refuse to look away. In his original story, the villain was simply evil, and Dana was simply brave, and justice was served with a fireball over the Atlantic. But what if the truth was more complicated than that? What if the man who built the conspiracy also genuinely believed he was the last line of defense between civilization and its own worst instincts? What if the journalist who exposed him kept 3 pages of his evidence to herself? What does that make her? What does it make any of us when we choose what truth to tell and what truth to keep?